Now, a full bench of judges in the Johannesburg High Court will rule on whether to urgently interdict an attempt to privately prosecute President Cyril Ramaphosa on Monday. Today, the court listened to oral evidence whether the grounds for summons issued by former President Jacob Zuma in December are lawful. Ramaphosa maintains the litigation is flimsy, vexatious, and intended to achieve political ends. Newzroom Afrika's Ziyanda Ngcobo was in court and filed this report.
The South Gauteng High Court became a site of legal contestation where unprecedented scenes of a former and current president battling it out unfolded. By extension, the politics of the ANC and what happens internally to a member when they're criminally charged by a court of law was also debated. Advocate Dalimpofu has argued against President Cyril Ramaphosa's assertions that the motive behind the summons against him being issued on the 15th of December were aimed at influencing the outcomes of the 55th National Conference.
The entire step-aside debate is actually evidence that this court should not grant this relief. Why? Because on their own version, the so-called step-aside rule kicks in, so the harm related to the step-aside rule kicks in once you are charged. Right? So that has happened already on the 15th of December 2022. So let's assume for a minute this court grants this relief that is being asked for here. The step-aside rule will still be operational.
President Cyril Ramaphosa's lawyers have argued that the correct steps have not been followed before being able to institute a private prosecution, which is primarily the fact that the National Prosecuting Authority needs to issue a certificate of non-prosecution before anything else takes place.
We cannot be held before an unlawful tribal criminal proceedings. We have those rights. And my client has decided to accept the right that this is entitled to approach this court to protect him from having his rights trampled upon by a private prosecutor who, prima facie, and that's the case we're today, prima facie is conducting an unlawful private prosecution.
The issue of whether or not the civil court has jurisdiction to interdict what is meant to be the start of a criminal proceeding in the form of a private prosecution was also debated.
An official of the state to be charged criminally, that is, for not doing anything about a complaint.
We think it's not a crime, and that we will submit in part B, that this is a frivolous prosecution. Even if the president would be guilty of not performing his constitutional obligations diligently, there's a section in the Constitution, 239 or 238, so he could complain about that. But you can't criminally prosecute him for failing to perform his function. I think our entire government will probably be involved.
The judgment on Monday, to be handed down by the full bench, will determine whether or not President Cyril Ramaphosa will have to sit in the dock as an accused next Thursday in a private prosecution brought against him by his predecessor. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Ziyanda Ngcobo at the South Gauteng High Court.